What I want to do today is basically go over this car and see what issues we find after the wreck this past run. Believe it or not, when I power this car on right now, it drives straight, everything seems okay, and the chassis itself does not seem bent. However, there are some issues with something because it's making a very weird noise up front when I run it. I don't know if there's something wrong with my diff, maybe the diff blew when this happened, but something in the front end is definitely an issue. What the plan is right now is basically start tearing this thing down and get everything off of it to be able to put on the new chassis. I actually do not think this chassis is that bent. Maybe it is a little bit, but looking at it, it seems okay, but I don't want to keep running it. And I want to be able to get into the car to see what else might be going on because the sound up front just does not sound good. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna run it real quick. I'm gonna see if you guys can hear it. So I'm not sure if you can hear that, guys, on camera, but it does sound different. It sounds not like it did before. Some weird sound is coming from the front end, I think from the diffs. So that's what I really want to get into and see what's going on over there. And if we're already going to be tearing it apart, we might as well go ahead and replace this chassis because we are not going to continue running with a chassis that's been in 2 different wrecks already. Wow, that was under a lot of tension. When I just removed that last screw, the whole front end just like moved down. Yeah, this thing is definitely bent. Right there, it's very loose. I can move it around and I can move it in and out. So definitely something going on with the diff up front. Yep. Definitely something going on with the diff up front. Yeah, I don't like that this was hitting on that at all. Might have to grind that down a little bit. I'm not sure what's going on with the shaft, but I do have additional parts for the Scorched RC stuff, so I pretty much have double of everything. So if there's anything wrong with any of those pieces, we should be good to go. See, at the time. All right, so the wiring's all good. All right, so moving on to move these fans. Move these fans. All right, get that out. No, I think now I'm going to start at the bottom and go ahead and get as much off the bottom as possible. How's the piece down here? Not sure. I was going to part down. How's the piece down there? Anyway, I'm starting pulling all the stuff off of it. There you go. All right. So This thing wobbles side to side and goes in and out. So I'm wondering if this bearing might be kind of toast. So I don't know if this wobble side to side is bad. See the back one. Actually, the back one does exactly the same thing. Yeah, I don't know, guys. For the most part, it seems like it's fine. Steering looks all good. I don't see any issues with steering. Connecting rods seem all right too. No excessive play. Oh, look, I knew it. That's what happened. There was still string that was wrapped around the axle that probably caused it to bind. When we wrecked this thing, it was going perfectly straight and out of nowhere cut over to one side. So if we are driving straight and this wheel binds up, it's gonna pull over to the left side, and that's exactly what happened. So I looked over this whole thing. I'm not seeing any issues. Like the way it sits on the bearing is fine. So I'm not sure. Maybe there really is not a problem. Let's see, there's a spacer in there. There is, so I don't know. But I'm about to just put it back in there and let it run. So I'm gonna re-Loctite it. All cleaned up, put some new Loctite on it, let it roll. I went over this whole thing. I don't see anything wrong with it. The bearings are good, everything is good. So I put everything back together. I cleaned everything. This whole front piece I think is fine at this point. So I can go ahead and mount this on its new home, which is gonna be on this nice brand new chassis. Guys, should I replace this with a carbon fiber one? Because I guess at the end of the day, what's gonna have to happen eventually is this is gonna have to be a GT, right? So for us, if we wanna actually go 200 miles an hour, eventually we have to convert to a GT body and have a carbon fiber chassis. So I guess I should get on doing that as soon as possible. So the front end is done. I feel like everything after this should go kind of quick because there's not much that I had concerns with about the back end. So I should be able to tear the back end apart and get it all ready to go quickly. So looking around the back end, everything seemed just fine. Nothing's moving. Nothing seems bent. Everything in the back end looks all good. All right, so drive shaft is going back in. maybe the drive shaft is going back in. All right, so where are we at? So the back is reassembled. Body frame is all reassembled. Let's get the front end back on this thing. I had my boy put the new splitter on the front since the old one is pretty much destroyed. I forgot the ones that go in the front are actually longer, so they bite into the plastic better. Because the one that I tried to put in there just stripped out. And I looked at it, I was like, oh crap, this one's too short. All right, so that's on there. Guys, we're almost done. Oh my God, this took an eternity. This really took forever, way longer than I expected. I am gonna get a new body for this thing, so you guys know. Just for now, we're putting this one back on. And my son did a good job actually cleaning it out and trying to put it back to the way it was, because I was planning just to toss it out, but he's like, no, Dad, I got this. I'm gonna clean it up, I'll fix it up, and he did. Good job, Nikolai. So here it is, we're all done. We rebuilt the car successfully. Everything works. I've already tested it out. The weird noise that was coming up front, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was because the frame was tweaked a little bit and it was maybe misaligned, and that's why I was making that noise. But now that noise is no longer there. Everything is nice, everything is working, everything is straight. After looking at the original chassis, the whole chassis is twisted off to one side, and the front part that holds the whole front wheel assembly on, that whole part was like also twisted to the side, along with a nice little twist like in the middle of the chassis. So it definitely had a good amount of damage. So I'm glad that I went ahead and replaced it all. So when we go out this weekend, we will go out with a nice healthy car. Otherwise, guys, everything is good. She is back in action and absolutely beautiful. So thank you for watching, guys. Really appreciate your support. Like and subscribe, and I will see you this weekend. We will try to hit 150.